Close your eyes now, my dear, and let this be the moment you finally stop fighting whatever you've been fighting. You don't need to win anything tonight. You don't need to control anything tonight. You only need to breathe, to soften, to rest. 12 gentle truths are waiting for you here, each one a small doorway into peace, into surrender, into the quiet ease that has been waiting patiently beneath all your struggle. There is nothing to prepare, nothing to defend, nothing you must win before you're allowed to simply rest. Just your breath, arriving and leaving, patient and unhurried, asking nothing more of you than presence. Nothing is required of you except your breath and your willingness to finally stop fighting. So let your shoulders drop, let your fists unclench, let your whole body settle into the truth that peace doesn't require struggle, and let us begin together, softly, the way peace always begins. The fight you didn't know you were in, there is a fight many of us carry quietly, my dear, without ever fully realizing we've been fighting it at all. Not a fight against another person, but a fight against life itself, against circumstances, against what already is. Tonight, let's notice that fight together. What have you been quietly resisting without even realizing it? Breathe in slowly, and as you exhale, whisper softly, I am willing to stop fighting what already is. Feel how unfamiliar that sentence might sound at first, almost like laying down a weapon you forgot you were carrying. A woman once said she hadn't realized how exhausted she was until the moment she finally admitted she'd been fighting her own life for years. What did she discover the instant she finally put that fight down? This isn't about giving up on your goals or your hopes. It's about noticing where you've been resisting reality itself, quietly, without even meaning to. That resistance costs more energy than most people realize, quietly draining what could otherwise go toward living fully. Tonight, we begin gently noticing that fight, not to shame it, but simply to see it clearly. And seeing it clearly is often the very first step toward finally setting it down, gently, without needing to force anything. Why resistance makes everything feel heavier. Have you noticed how the same difficulty feels heavier when you fight it, and somehow lighter when you simply accept it exists? This isn't imagination, my dear. Resistance itself adds weight, layering struggle on top of whatever is already there. Tonight, let's understand why fighting reality tends to make it feel so much harder to carry. A real-world example makes this easier to feel than any explanation could offer. A man once said he spent months resisting a diagnosis, exhausting himself fighting a truth that wouldn't change no matter how hard he argued with it. The moment he finally said, "This is what is happening, and I will meet it as it is," something in him loosened. He hadn't expected acceptance itself to feel like relief rather than defeat. The pattern here is subtle but remarkably consistent for nearly everyone who examines it honestly and closely enough. Resistance tightens the body, narrows the mind, and multiplies suffering far beyond whatever the original difficulty actually was in the first place. Acceptance doesn't remove the difficulty, but it removes the additional weight resistance always adds on top of it. What you've been fighting may simply be waiting for you to finally stop fighting it. Quietly, gently, without force. Pattern break. Notice, just for a moment, how tightly your jaw is held right now. Let it soften just slightly. Let your shoulders drop too. Notice how much lighter simply releasing feels than gripping ever did. The moment struggle quietly turns into surrender. There is a specific moment, my dear, when exhausted struggle finally softens into something quieter, something more like surrender. Most people fight past this moment for as long as possible, afraid that surrender means losing entirely. Tonight, let's slow down enough to actually witness that moment arriving within you. Older traditions spoke of surrender not as defeat, but as a doorway, a quiet turning point where peace becomes possible again. A grandmother once told her grandson that the river doesn't fight the rocks. It simply moves around them, patiently, without struggle. Modern minds, so used to pushing through everything, often resist this idea until they finally experience it directly. What might change if you stopped measuring peace by how hard you fought to get there? People who finally surrender, even briefly, often describe an unexpected wave of relief washing over them almost immediately, more than they anticipated, as if the fight itself had been the heaviest part all along, heavier even than the difficulty it was fighting against. It isn't weakness, it's wisdom, recognizing when pushing harder only deepens exhaustion rather than solving anything real. And in that recognition, something in you finally exhales completely, deeply, all the way down, the way a long-held breath finally releases. As we continue into this, there's a quiet reason peace tends to arrive only after you finally stop chasing it so hard. What peace actually feels like in the body. Peace isn't only a feeling in the mind, my dear. It's something the body itself can recognize, quietly, in its own particular language. Most people search for peace mentally, forgetting to notice what it actually feels like physically when it finally arrives. Tonight, let's notice peace in the body directly, gently, without needing to think our way toward it. Place your hand over your chest and whisper, "I allow my body to feel peace right now, exactly as it is." Feel how your shoulders respond, how your breath deepens without needing to be forced or managed. A woman once said she finally recognized peace, not as a thought, but as her own jaw unclenching for the first time in years. What might your own body be quietly waiting to release the moment you finally stop fighting? The nervous system knows peace through sensation, through softening, through the release of tension it has carried for far too long already. Once the body recognizes peace directly, it tends to trust it more deeply than any mental reassurance ever could, alone or unaided. Tonight, let peace be something you feel, not just something you think about or hope for someday. And that felt peace, once experienced, tends to be easier to return to again and again, more easily each time. The secret life has been trying to show you. Life rarely fights against you the way it sometimes feels like it does, my dear, even during its hardest, most difficult seasons. More often, life is simply unfolding, indifferent to our resistance, patiently waiting for us to stop struggling long enough to see clearly. Tonight, let's consider what life might have been quietly trying to show you all along. A retired teacher once said that every difficult season in her life eventually revealed something she couldn't have learned any easier way. She hadn't wanted the difficulty, but looking back, she could finally see what it had quietly been teaching her the entire time. What might your own difficult season be trying to show you once you stop fighting it long enough to look? This isn't about pretending hardship is good. It's about noticing that fighting hardship rarely changes it, while meeting it sometimes reveals something entirely new. Life doesn't need your struggle to teach its lessons. resistance. It only needs your attention, your willingness to finally stop resisting and simply notice what's there. Tonight, without needing an answer immediately, simply stay open to whatever life has been quietly trying to show you. Sometimes the lesson only becomes visible once the fighting finally stops completely, gently, on its own time. A forgotten truth hidden inside acceptance. Old traditions understood acceptance differently than most modern minds do, my dear. Not as passive resignation, but as active, courageous presence. They believed accepting what is required more strength than fighting it, not less, contrary to what most people assume. Somewhere along the way, this understanding faded, replaced by the belief that fighting harder always means trying harder. An elderly man once said his father taught him that acceptance wasn't about liking what happened. It was about no longer wasting energy denying that it had. He still repeats this to himself, decades later, whenever he feels the old urge to fight against something he cannot change. What is it about this kind of acceptance that brings such immediate, noticeable relief? Pattern many notice is emotional rather than purely philosophical in nature, though both certainly play some role in how it lands. Denial and resistance keep the nervous system anxiously bracing against a reality that isn't going to change regardless of how hard you push. Acceptance, offered instead, allows the nervous system to finally rest, freeing energy for whatever comes next in life. That small shift seems to quietly protect your peace, no matter how difficult the circumstance remains around you. Just for a moment, imagine setting down something you've been carrying tightly, gently, without needing to explain why. Notice how calm even the simple thought of that release feels inside you right now. Why letting go isn't the same as giving up. Many people confuse letting go with giving up, my dear, believing that surrender means abandoning hope or ceasing to care entirely. But letting go tonight means something different, something quieter, something more like releasing your grip while still remaining present. Let's notice the difference together, gently, without judgment. A man once described the difference perfectly, saying giving up felt like walking away entirely, while letting go felt like simply opening his hands while staying exactly where he was. He hadn't expected such a small shift in posture to change his entire emotional experience so completely and so quickly. What might shift for you tonight simply by opening your hands instead of walking away entirely? Letting go doesn't mean you no longer care about the outcome. It means you no longer need to control every single detail of how it arrives. That release, small as it seems, tends to reduce suffering far more than any amount of continued gripping ever could manage to. Tonight, notice what you might be able to gently release, while still remaining fully present to what matters most to you. And in that release, life finally has more room to move than it did while you were gripping so tightly. The quiet space between fighting and resting. There is a quiet space, my dear, between the exhaustion of fighting and the relief of finally resting, and you can visit it right now. Most people rush past this space, moving straight from struggle back into struggle, without ever pausing long enough to notice it exists. Tonight, let's rest inside that space together, gently, for just a few breaths. Breathe in, and as you exhale, whisper, "I am allowed to rest here, even before anything is fully resolved." Feel your body settle slightly deeper. Feel something in you exhale that had been holding on for a very long time. A nurse once said guiding patients into this exact space, even briefly, noticeably eased their recovery and their peace of mind. What might you find simply by resting here for a moment before returning to whatever awaits you? This space doesn't require the fight to be finished. It only requires your willingness to pause inside it for a little while. Rest here doesn't mean abandoning what matters to you. It means gathering strength before continuing, gently, without exhausting yourself even further. Once you learn to visit this space regularly, fighting tends to feel less constant, less overwhelming, less like your only available option. And that space, once discovered, tends to remain quietly available to you whenever you need it again, patiently waiting. What changes the instant you stop pushing? There is an instant, my dear, when pushing against life finally softens into simply allowing life to move at its own pace. Most people resist that instant for as long as possible, afraid that stopping means losing whatever ground they've gained. But stopping tonight means something gentler than that. Something more like finally trusting the process instead of forcing it. Whisper softly, I release my grip and I trust what happens when I finally stop pushing. Feel your hands unclench, your jaw soften, your whole body settle a little deeper into wherever you're resting right now. A woman once said the moment she finally stopped pushing toward an outcome she'd been forcing for years, the exact thing she wanted arrived naturally within weeks. What had she been unknowingly blocking simply by continuing to push so hard? Pushing narrows what's possible, forcing solutions that fit only what the mind can currently imagine. Nothing more, nothing beyond that limited view. Stopping widens possibility. Quietly, the way a clenched fist slowly opens into an open, receiving palm ready to receive. Once the pushing stops, life has room to bring solutions the mind alone could never have forced into existence on its own. And in that open palm, peace finally has room to arrive, gently, in its own perfect time. The voice that whispers you can finally rest. Underneath every struggle, my dear, there is often a quieter voice that has been gently whispering permission to rest all along. That voice doesn't shout, doesn't demand, it simply waits, patiently, for you to finally be willing to listen to it. Tonight, let's listen past the struggle, toward whatever has been waiting quietly beneath it. Breathe in, and as you exhale, whisper, I hear the voice that says I can rest now, and I choose to listen. Feel how different that sentence lands compared to continuing to fight out of habit, out of fear, out of simply not knowing another way. A young man once said that the moment he finally heard this quieter voice, his whole relationship with struggle began to change. What was that quieter voice trying to remind him of the entire time he was fighting? The struggling mind often speaks first because it's louder, more urgent, insisting that stopping means everything will fall apart entirely. But underneath it, patiently, is usually a steadier voice, one that knows rest is not the same as failure. Tonight, instead of silencing that struggle, simply listen past it, toward whatever has been quietly waiting beneath. That quieter voice, once heard, tends to bring a peace the struggle could never quite offer. Why life softens once you stop gripping it. The tighter you grip life, my dear, the more it seems to resist you, slipping through your fingers no matter how hard you hold on. The moment you finally loosen that grip, life often seems to soften in response, meeting you halfway instead of pulling away. Tonight, let's notice how deeply connected these two things truly are. A retired nurse once said the season she finally stopped gripping her own recovery so tightly was the exact season her healing accelerated the most. She hadn't expected loosening her grip to actually speed up the very thing she'd been forcing so hard. What might soften around you tonight? Simply by loosening whatever you've been gripping tightly. This isn't magic. It's simply how tension works. Gripping tight tightens everything around it, while release allows natural movement to resume again. A tightly held life often feels rigid, resistant, exhausting to maintain hour after hour, day after day. A gently held life tends to feel more spacious, more responsive, more able to shift and flow as it needs to. Tonight, as you loosen your grip even slightly, notice how much more room life may suddenly have to move. The gentle arrival of peace you almost missed. There is a soft threshold, my dear, between the exhausted fighting you've known and the quiet peace waiting just beyond it. You are standing at that threshold right now, closer than you may realize, closer with every breath you've allowed yourself tonight. Let's walk through it together. Slowly, the way one enters a quiet room without disturbing anything inside. Whisper one final time, I stop fighting, and I let peace find me now. Let those words become softer with each repetition, until they feel less like effort and more like simply arriving somewhere you've always belonged. A woman once said that by the fourth repetition, she could no longer tell where the fighting had gone, only that peace had quietly taken its place. That is exactly where you are welcome to arrive tonight too. These words would remind them. This threshold doesn't require you to do anything else, my dear. Only to keep breathing, keep softening, keep allowing the fight to finally rest. Whatever peace has settled in tonight will continue quietly with you, long after these words have gone quiet. You don't need to hold on to any of this consciously. Your body already knows exactly what to do with it. Simply rest now and let the peace you've been chasing finally, quietly find you instead. There is nothing left for you to fight tonight, my dear. Only breath, only rest, only the quiet peace that has been waiting patiently this entire time. You've spoken gently to your resistance, your struggle, your grip, and each one has softened just a little tonight. That softening doesn't end the moment this meditation does. It continues quietly through the night and into the days ahead. Life has not been fighting you, my dear. Not really. It has simply been waiting for you to stop fighting it back. You don't have to win anything else tonight. You don't have to defend anything else. You only have to rest. Let your breathing grow slower now. Let your thoughts grow fewer and further apart, like waves finally settling after a long storm passes. If an old urge to fight drifts through, simply let it pass, the way a cloud passes without needing your permission or your attention. Whatever you've been struggling against is welcome to soften a little further with every breath you take from here forward tonight. Whatever felt like a battle has already been set down, gently, and it doesn't need to be picked back up right now. You are safe here, in this quiet surrender, in this soft rest, in this moment that asks nothing further of you. Notice how much lighter you feel already, how much less you need to hold on to than you did before this meditation began, how much easier it feels simply to breathe. Let peace come now, unhurried, the way it always has, wrapping around you like something warm and long overdue, something that was always meant to find you. And when you wake tomorrow, however you wake, know that peace continued quietly finding you the entire time you rested, without needing your effort, without needing your struggle, only your willingness to finally, gently, stop fighting. Whatever you carried into tonight, you don't have to carry the same way tomorrow. Something has already shifted here, even if only slightly, even if only for tonight. Rest now, gently, my dear. You are safe. You are at peace. You are finally, truly resting. And this quiet peace will still be here, waiting for you, for as long as you need it.